Hello and welcome to another episode of The Useless Chef. Yes, this t-shirt says sexy and I mow it. That's because I'm a greenkeeper. You get it. Welcome to the second episode. Absolutely buzzing for this one today because we are doing one of my favourite meals, which is Schnitzels. Easy for me to say, Schnitzels. My wife, that's her favourite meal, so I'm absolutely buzzing for this one. It's a bit of a longer one. It's a bit more advanced to what we did on Monday with the full English. The full English was pretty basic, so this one we're stepping it up a notch a little bit just to to refine those cooking skills. I love this meal. It's a little bit harder to cook, but it's so much fun. Gonna get real messy, and I'm gonna have a cracking meal at the end of it. So thank you once again for tuning in. Appreciate last time wasn't the easiest of watches, but I'm going to mend a few things today, slightly longer, in between bits where the words come up, so you'll be able to read them a bit longer, and you'll notice we're in landscape. So hopefully that works, and hopefully that looks a bit better. So thank you once again, and yeah, hope you enjoy today's show. I certainly will. It's going to be a good one. Okay, your ingredients for today. Obviously we're doing chicken schnitzels, so we need chicken. So what we've got is 4 chicken breasts here. I've got 4 just because that's what the packet I had in the fridge, but we're actually going to cook 2. 2 will be enough for 4 schnitzels. So ideally today I'm cooking for 2 people, me and the wifey. So 2 breasts is going to be enough. It's going to give us 2 schnitzels each. If you're greedy like I am, I can sometimes have 4 schnitzels, no problem. So if you're on your own, you can still cook 2 by all means. And we're going to have it with mash. So obviously white potatoes here. I'm going to make some nice creamy mash to go with them, and our old favourite baked beans. That's going to make the trifecta for this meal. So it's going to be schnitzels, mash and baked beans. But to make the batter for the schnitzel, we're going to have to use flour, just plain flour, plain regular Joe flour, with eggs. I've got 3 eggs that I'm going to put into a bowl, and bread. We're going to make breadcrumbs. Doesn't matter what bread. I've actually not used this toasted bread yet, so I don't know how it's going to turn out myself, but normal bread is absolutely fine. So as for utensils, we're going to be using, obviously to make breadcrumb, we've got to smash the bread up. So the best way to do that is with a blender or with a NutriBullet. So we're going to be using the NutriBullet to do the bread. We've got a bowl for the eggs. We're going to put the 3 eggs in there and beat them all together. Flour's going to go in one and the breadcrumb's going to go in another. Cooking utensils, notice the nice pink colander that I'm modelling, which is clearly mine, as you can tell by the pinny. They go hand in hand. A saucepan for the potatoes. I'm going to boil them up. And a frying pan, this is where we're going to cook the chicken. And for hand utensils, we've got the grabby things, which I have been informed are called tongs, but I don't like that word tongs, so we're going to keep on calling them grabby things because that works much better for what I'm trying to achieve here. And a new one, this is a spoon spatula thingy. That is what its official name is. We're going to be using that today as well. So all in all, just a quick recap: chicken, potatoes, baked beans, main 3 things, and then flour, eggs and bread for the batter. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Let's go. Okay. So we are gonna go make the ingredients needed for the batter. Straight away we're gonna get them into the bowls, get them ready, because once we cut the chicken, that's what we're gonna dip them in, alternatively before we put them in the pan. So first things first. No, I'm not thirsty. First things first, flour. What you want to do, this is just easy. There you go. Done. Flour into a bowl. Give it a shake to make it even. Done. Right, eggs next. Eggs, again, not rocket science here. Crack your eggs. Doesn't matter if you kill the yolk because you're going to beat them anyway. Okay, fork. Just get your fork in there and whisk them up so it all goes a nice orangey colour. There we go, perfect. It might be worth, you're only doing two breasts, so that should be enough, but if you're doing more, sometimes I'll do a large packet of chicken, because then we'll be good for a couple of days lunches as well. So if you do a large pack, sort of make as many as you can. You get some eggs to hand, keep them to hand because you'll have to keep filling that up. Same with the flour and same with the breadcrumb. Okay, breadcrumb. Rather than break a new packet, I might as well use up the old packet. Crusts are really good for this, so those of you that don't eat crusts, keep them. Just tear up your bread. I mean, it's so much easier with a NutriBullet. If you haven't got a NutriBullet, it's the same sort of thing for a blender. I presume. I've never used a blender because we've always had NutriBullet. But one way or another, we'll get there. So put them in there. The NutriBullet is on. Going to put obviously the blade side down into the bread. It's not switched on just yet, but you've got to get it ready. Now we switch it on. Shake. Go. All I'm going to do is pour that breadcrumb to the bowl. So see, it's nice and fine breadcrumb, perfect. And what I'm going to do is, because the breadcrumb usually goes the first out of the flour, egg and breadcrumb, I'm going to just do another load. I'm just going to leave it in this container, just a kind of a spare. And if you don't use it, then the dog gets breadcrumb on his dinner later. Fantastic. Winner, winner. Chicken schnitzel dinner. Here we go. Trying to get these big bits down to the bottom. Sometimes is a little bit of an issue, clearly. There's just one bit in there, it won't go. Pour some of it out. I think there's a bit too much in there, probably. Right, come on you. There we go, fantastic. Well, that took about 3 minutes longer than it should have done. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for spare. Turn this off, move this out of the way, shouldn't need it anymore. Okay, so now we have eggs, flour, and plenty of breadcrumb. This is how we're going to make our batter. So now that's all done, we'll put them just to the side here, and we can now focus on the chicken. Okay, now we've got the ingredients for the batter in their bowls and ready to go. What we're going to do is we're going to peel some potatoes ready for the mash. So what I've got here is I've got 6 small to medium potatoes, which is obviously, like I said before, I'm feeding 2, me and the wifey. So that's plenty for 2 people. If you're on your own, 3 or 4 potatoes is fine. And all I'm going to do is peel these, and I'm sure you've peeled potatoes before, so I'm not going to bother showing you that. But one thing I will say is, now is the time to get the water boiling, ready for the potatoes. So if you grab your saucepan and just put a little bit of water in, just to kind of cover the bottom, and then what you want to do is stick it on a low to medium heat, and at the same time boil your kettle, because then the kettle water, obviously, then you put into the saucepan. It's kind of cheating a little bit, but you get your boiling water quicker. So just going to do that now. Kettle's fairly full already. I'm cheating. Alright. So kettle's on, the saucepan's on. Just going to put it on to the low medium heat. So now, while I'm peeling my potatoes, I'm confident. I'm going to turn that kettle off. Might be too loud. While I'm peeling my potatoes, I know that the kettle's boiling with boiling water, and the saucepan is got hot water in it already. So all I'm going to do is, once I'm peeling, hear the kettle go, I'm going to pour that boiling water from the kettle into the saucepan, and let that all get up to heat, let it all get to boil. So by the time that I transfer my potatoes over to the counter and cut them up, I can stick them straight in the saucepan, and they'll be cooking straight away, because they'll take 10 to 15 minutes to boil. By that time, we'll be well and truly in with the chicken, and we can focus all of our energy onto the chicken then. So yeah, potatoes now. Okay, so my potatoes are now peeled. They're ready to be cut. My water's in the saucepan. It's already starting to boil, which is fantastic. So just going to grab a nice sharp knife just to cut these potatoes into smaller chunks. Doesn't have to be an exact science, because you are only going to be mashing these up in 15-20 minutes anyway. Okay, so once they're all cut, oh, fail. There we go, like a pro. Right, put this to wash. Pick up a fresh board. Okay, it's chicken time. So now the potatoes are in, we can leave them. You know, they're in with plenty of water. They're going to boil out. Well, they're going to boil now and cook for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, with mash, it doesn't really matter how long you leave them, because you're going to mash them. Obviously, you don't want to overcook them, because they'll be really soggy and minging. But 10-15 minutes, you know, is absolutely fine for these. And again, as soon as they're done, if the chicken's not done, I can turn it off, put the lid on, and that'll keep the heat in there as well to keep them warm. But for now, I'm happy with them. Leave them in there. Leave them there. Right, so chicken time. This is the nitty gritty of this process. So what we're going to do is, first things first, actually, we are going to put the frying pan on in the central hob here. Now this is where this meal is not Slimming Well friendly, unfortunately, because we're going to use a lot of oil. It's fried, you know, you can't really do a lot about it. If you're on a Slimming World, you're avoiding this meal, unfortunately, because it is the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick what will seem like a buttload of oil in here. See, it's quite a lot. Might not even be enough yet. What we're going to do is, I'm going to stick this on. Oh, we are going to stick this on. There we go. On a low heat. Just going to go near enough to the bottom of this one because this hog particularly gets hot. So we're going to leave that right down on the bottom. And now we're going to cut the chicken. I just noticed my microphone's not the right round. There we go, you might be able to hear me better now. Okay, so we're going to get a nice bit of chicken, a nice bit of breast in our hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut vertically down, right through the middle of it. So I'm going to get a nice little start on it. And I'm just going to slowly look right from above, make sure I'm going down, pressing in all the while with your finger and your thumb to keep the knife in place. Guide it down all the way through to the bottom. And you've got 2 even pieces of breast. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to get the nice big one here. Exactly the same thing. So you're going to squeeze it with your finger and your thumb so it can't go anywhere. With your knife, you're going to go in the top. Be careful not to dig in like that into your hand. You've got to be very sort of slow here. Be very careful. Edge your way down. I've just caught my hand as I said that. There we go. Straight down. Okay. Did catch my hand, but my hand's still on. Not no problem. Right, so we've got 4 chicken breasts ready to go. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to wash my hands first. Okay. So we will transfer the chopping board out here. We don't need those breasts for the moment. Well, we don't need them at all. I, however, might do some more later. The process here is we're going to use the flour first, then the egg, then the breadcrumb. So make sure this oil is all the way around the pan. Now that's heated up nice. I'm probably just going to stick it off the heat just for a moment. I don't want to be too hot as I put the chicken in. So first things first, chicken straight on to the flour. Beat it down a little bit, turn it over, get it so it's nice and covered in flour. Again, it's plain flour, not self-raising, it's plain flour. Okay, then we're going to go in for the egg. In one side, out the other. And straight up, out into the breadcrumb. Pat it down, flip it over. And the breadcrumb on the top, and we're just going to make sure that this is all covered in breadcrumb. Okay, lovely job. Now, while it's a messy job, this one, you're going to get really messy fingers, but you can do 2 at a time. So what I'm going to do is flour, make sure all the crevices get well and truly floured here. Fluff the bread up a little bit. Okay, in one side of the egg, making sure every inch of this chicken breast gets egged, and then smack it straight down onto the bread. So what I'm going to do now is this bit is going to go straight into the pan like this, and then I can breadcrumb this bit of breast up, stick it straight into the pan as well. Okay, it's not sizzling yet, so it's not super hot. This is the opportunity now just to quickly wash your hands, get all the mixture off. Oh, I've just realised this camera's not facing down, so you can't see what's in the pan. There you go. How about that? Okay. So, how are we? Yeah, you can see that now. So, the chicken is in the pan. Tongy things we're using in a sec, but first of all we're going to get these extra 2 breasts in there. There's plenty of space. So, flour. Egg, breadcrumb. Yeah, I told you it's a messy job, this one. You're going to have counters to clean after this. Okay, straight in there. Lovely job, that's bubbling. And then quickly get this last one in so they're all in at the same sort of time. In the egg. Out of the egg. Fluff the bread up. There we go. We've got spare bread if we needed it, but we didn't. We've got enough. So that can go in that side. There we go. Right, wash hands again. Okay, so that's the process is now done. That's the hard bit out of the way. This is the easy stuff now, watching it cook and just flipping it. So the first flip with the grabby things, we're just going to wait for maybe 2 or 3 minutes just to double make sure that that underside is cooked before we flip. Worst thing you can do is flip it too early and the mix is not quite compact enough yet and it just falls apart in your hands. So you want to just leave it a couple of minutes for the first flip, and then we'll leave it. We'll flip it in a couple of seconds, and then we'll leave it again for a few minutes before we flip again. But for the time being, it's a case of just clearing up as you go. But we're here. I'm just gonna see. Okay, we're good. So the oil is going to cook these, so you need to make sure at all times there's plenty of oil in the pan. There should be enough to look in here. Okay, let's flip. Perfect. Flip this one, that's the second one in. Lovely. Oh yeah, looking good. Right, there we go. So, there we have it for now. We have battered our chicken. We've put it in on sort of a low to medium heat onto the frying pan. The potatoes are in, they're sort of halfway cooked already now. So now it's just a case of clearing up after ourselves and continuing to flip these every minute or so once this bottom side has now been cooked. So yeah, that is it for now. All I'm going to do now while the camera's off is clear up. Okay, so in the couple of minutes that I've just been gone there, just cleared away all of this that I don't need anymore, and I've just flipped these chickens a couple of times just so they don't burn. But they're already starting to get there. They're looking really good. Now that's just starting to come apart there. Just be a bit careful of it when you flip it. They are, once they get as one, they are quite brittle, so they do quite easily break. I'm just going to stir these potatoes and check to see if they're done. Okay, the potatoes are still quite hard on the inside, so they're not done yet, so they need another couple of minutes at least. But no, this is just basically a check-up. They're starting to brown now. The chicken's probably 2 to 3 minutes away from being cooked now, and we'll check them. We're going to cut them and check them in the middle, make sure they're not pink when they're done. And the potatoes are again probably 3 or 4 minutes away from being ready to mash. You'll find out tomorrow. I'm going to explain a lot more about using chicken on cutting boards and what you should and shouldn't do with that because of the bacteria that raw chicken has. So you'll get a lot more tomorrow, but basically only use a certain surface, whether it's a cutting board or a kitchen surface. Only use it once when it's raw chicken before giving it a thorough wash. So that's why I changed boards to do the potatoes. But no, it's all going very well now. I'm also, while we're just sitting here not doing a lot, I'm going to get my baked beans and put them in a small Pyrex like I did for the big breakfast. So they're ready to go in. We know that they only take a couple of minutes, so we put them in right at the end. The chicken is likely going to be done before the potato here, so all I'm going to do is just move it off the heat for a couple of minutes, and then return it back to the heat to keep it warmed, but it's not really cooking. So that's all I'm going to do if the chicken gets ahead of the potatoes particularly, but they shouldn't be. Just starting to get a bit crispy on the outside, which is good. We want it crispy. Perfect. They're looking good. Okay, the potatoes are going to be there. Let's get these baked beans ready to go. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes since I last spoke to you, and now the potatoes are nice and soft in the middle. The knife's going through them really easily, so they are ready to come off. I've also got my baked beans ready in Pyrex. Chicken, again, I did just take it off the heat for a minute or two just to stop it over burning, but it's good. You just have to keep a visual eye. When it starts to go brown like this, that means it's pretty much nearly done. Any more, you're gonna burn it. So it's just keeping an eye on it, and like I said, keep moving it off the heat if you need to let the potatoes catch up. The potatoes have now caught up, so again, I'm just going to drain them using my nice masculine pink colander. Turn the heat off that hob. Drain them a couple of times, and when the heat goes, let me just turn the extractor fan on. There we go. Hopefully the camera's cleared up a little bit now. Maybe this camera's the best. You'll see that the potatoes are just a little bit fluffy on the outside from the colander. That's great. That means they're ready to mash. So here's the best part. Okay. Again, when I went through the utensils and everything that you need to use for today, I missed out a load of stuff as usual. So you're going to need something to mash your potatoes with. I recommend a potato masher grinder thingy, handled thing. It's obviously a potato masher, and all we're going to do is we're literally just going to press down on the potatoes until they mash. Give it a dink. A dink is a scientific term for a gentle tap. A dink. There we go. Let me just check these chickens aren't going black. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, perfect. Lovely job. Just going to take them off the heat for a sec while I mash these potatoes. I'm going to leave the heat on. Just be wary of it. I'm going to leave it on because I'm probably just going to put the chicken over there just for a 30-second blast right at the end to keep them really hot. But again, just remember you've got the heat on in the middle there. You don't want to be putting anything on it. Okay, well, I've got the potato pretty mashed. All I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 splashes of milk, and I mean just little tiny splashes like that is plenty. I'm going to absorb all the potato in that milk and carry on mashing. And providing the mash is not too wet, which it's not, I'm also just going to add a couple of half scoops of butter. That's going to make it nice and creamy. So again, absorb that butter with the mash. Perfect. Now I'm just going to whip the beans in the microwave, 1.5 minutes to start with. Continue mashing. I would say well and truly mashed. Again, if you want to keep the heat in, lid it, that'll keep the heat in. Okay, just gonna turn these chickens just to keep them piping hot while I get a plate out. Oh, I can't wait for these. Okay, I've got 30 seconds left on the beans before I stir them and put them in for their final minute, and then I'll be ready to dish up. Beans are nearly done. This chicken, or any more, that's going to A, the batter's going to start coming off, and B, it's going to burn. So, off the heat, excuse me, turn the hob off. Now what we're going to do is, I'm going to use this knife to check the potatoes. So what I'm going to do is, I'll cut in the middle of the chicken. I'm just going to lift it up slightly to make sure it's not pink. It's not, it's nice and white. The juices are running clear. That's the thickest piece, I think. I'm just going to double check this piece because it's quite thick as well. Just going to make an incision right in the middle of it, all the way down to the pan. Push it out slightly, and I can see in there, I don't think the camera will be able to pick it up. I'll try and... no, I can't get up there. You have to trust me. It's not pink in the middle, it's nice and white, and if I squeeze it, the juices that come out of it are nice and clear. So I'm happy that those chickens are cooked, so it heats off everywhere. So all I'm going to do now is get a disher upper spoon. Official name. Again, something that you need, which I didn't tell you to have. Potatoes are still nice and hot because I've had the lid on. So I'm just going to spoon some mash in there. I did say I was going to make some for the missus as well, didn't I? So better keep to my word this time. She did have some breakfast, whatever anyone else says. Don't let her tell you otherwise. Okay. The other alternative, of course, to baked beans is you can put any other veg on here. You don't just have to have baked beans, just because I do. You can put, you can steam some veg. You can have some frozen veg and stick it in a pan for 10 minutes to heat it up, whatever. So you can have whatever veg you want. I just really like baked beans. So they're done. Get that nice mix around. There we go. So, fantastic. Let's move this over here. Again, you can. There's plenty of space on the plate to put a couple of veg. So, I should have thought about it myself. Could have put some more veg on here. Nonetheless, here's your meal. And trust me when I say, this is one of the best meals you'll have. This chicken. Oh, can't wait. Anyway, time for me to go eat this while it's still hot. I am absolutely buzzing. I cannot wait to fill my large rotund belly with this. Okay, see you in a bit. Oh, that was nice. I really like that. I hope you did too. That's, like I said, one of my favourite meals, one of my wife's favourite meals. A meal that I picked up in Canada when I lived out there. Was taught it there when I lived there and brought it back with me, and now we eat that on a sort of semi-regular basis. Like I said, not cinnamon oil friendly, so with all the oil that goes into the pan, but you know, it's nice for a treat once in a while. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it too. It's a little bit more hands-on than a fried breakfast or the lunch that I'm going to do for you on Friday. But it's still not too much hassle, it's not too much effort, it's just knowing how to do it. And again, it's another meal that you can make in half an hour or so. I have a tendency to think these videos go on for 10-15 minutes, and really they're a lot longer than that. But you know, half an hour roughly, and you can get a full meal like that. The one thing I'd add to that is some more veg, and I'm pretty gutted I didn't, to be honest. Bit of broccoli or some fine beans to go with that would be fantastic. Baked beans, yeah, it was great. 3 things if you're in a sort of, not a hurry, but you know, a quick meal to make, which is a good hearty meal, and makes you feel like you're proper cooking as well. That's the difference with this kind of a meal, is you feel like you're proper cooking when you're wrapping chicken up in different things. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, it's not meant to be a massive thing. It's not meant to be a quality production. This is just trying to get people cooking who don't normally cook while we're at home. Why not? If you've got another half, a spouse or partner sitting on the couch right now watching TV, get them in the kitchen, say, look, watch this and do it, and just give it a go, see how it goes. Or if you know someone who lives alone and doesn't cook very often, lives off microwave meals, I know plenty of people that do that. You know, this is a video for you to get cooking and to eat some proper food, not just microwave meals. And like I said, it's not real healthy, but it's just better food than microwave meals. Or students is another one. Students is another target I'm going for, who need different things they can cook, inspirations. These aren't expensive dishes. This is probably the most expensive one of the week. Still not expensive considering how much a takeaway is every other night. So yeah, so get on it, and thank you so much for watching, and thank you for tagging. Carry on tagging people that need to see this. I appreciate it's not a Gordon Ramsay show or anything like that, but you know, it's just me. I'm just a regular person off work, like a lot of people is at the moment. A lot of people are at the moment, and just, you know, making use of my time. This is how I'm doing it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And now I've got to clear up the mess. But no, hope you enjoyed the meal today. I know I did. So don't care if you didn't. No. Thank you so much, and be back on Friday with another shorter, easier lunch to make. It's going to be a pasta, and yeah, that's gonna be a good one. So stay tuned for Friday. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days.